Hello, thank you so much for joining us as we review some of the services available to businesses through the Montgomery County Commerce Department. Today, we will focus on 5 economic and workforce development topics that are designed to support businesses and strengthen our workforce system. We will cover labor market information available through the Montgomery County Workforce Development Board, MoncoWorks, economic development resources, funding, support, and other supports available through MoncoWorks through the PA Career Link Montgomery County and MoncoWorks Now program for youth and young adults. We will address apprenticeship as a separate topic because it is a growing initiative on the local, state, and federal level. With that, I will introduce Jane Stein to talk about labor market information.
Thank you, Jenny. My name is Jane Stein. I am the Research and Performance Officer with the Montgomery County Workforce Development Board. I'm just going to take a little bit of time to tell you about some of the resources we have available to businesses in regard to labor market information. Next slide, please. So first, we need to look at what LMI actually is. There are 2 definitions currently: labor market information or labor market intelligence. And essentially what this means is any and all qualitative or quantitative data and analysis related to employment and the workforce in general, and the trends that we can look at to help guide programming. The goal of LMI is to help customers, both job seekers and employers, make informed plans, choices, and decisions for a variety of purposes, including business investment decision-making, career planning and preparation, education and training, job search, hiring, and public or private workforce investments. Next slide, please. I'm going to go over a few of the most commonly used platforms here in Montgomery County. We use the Local Area Unemployment Statistics, often known as LAUS, and this is a federal state cooperative between the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industries Center for Workforce Information and Analysis. What the LAUS data shows us is the labor force size, the employed individuals, and the unemployed individuals, nationally, statewide, and then for each local workforce development area, county, or municipalities with a minimum population of 25,000 or more. Next slide, please. And here's just a snapshot of what that information can look like coming from us. We do put out monthly reports that show our regional counterparts and their unemployment rates for the current month, the prior month, and the year before. And then we also can look at the unemployed residents and unemployment rates for the municipalities mentioned as part of the civilian labor force packet. For more information about the data releases and the schedule of when the county, state, and local area information comes out, you can head over to that link or scan the QR code to go right to it. Next slide, please. The next thing we're going to talk about is the Quarterly Census of Employment and Wages, also known as the QCEW. This again is a federal state cooperative between the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Center for Workforce Information and Analysis. What this does is give us an industry breakdown on establishments and employees, and really helps us guide the trends as far as growth and stability for our key industries here in Montgomery County. It also gives us good wage data based on the industry itself. Next slide, please. And here's a sample of how we use the QCEW in Montgomery County. And again, for access to the full data set, there is a link there as well as a QR code. And as of the 3rd quarter of 2022, the QCEW was showing 504,551 employees with an average annual wage of just over $80,000. And we'll see the top industry sectors by establishments, employees, and their average annual wages here in Montgomery County. Next slide, please. The next thing we're going to talk about is the Occupational Employment Statistics, which is the OEWS. This provides employment and wage estimates for over 800 occupations. This is somewhat similar to the QCEW. However, it is not focused on industry. It is focused on the occupation itself, as we know that occupations cross over industries all the time. This data is beneficial for employers looking to compare their pay rates to the aggregate in Montgomery County or surrounding counties based on specific occupations or occupational clusters. Next slide, please. Here is a sample of how we can use this data to help guide businesses in supporting their job openings and their wages that they are posting for hires. We can see entry-level wages, average wages, and then experience wages, so we can help establish whether or not your starting salaries on your job postings are in line with the trends, below, or super high. And again, if you'd like to look at this data set, you can visit that link or scan the QR code. And this is just a sample of what we put together several years ago to show occupational wage data trends over a 4-year period. Next slide, please. And like I said, those are just some of the samples of what we use. There are loads of resources available at this website here for workstats.dli.pa.gov/dashboards. They have done a really great job over the past several years putting out dashboards that are user-friendly and don't just require spreadsheet analysis. So you can plug what information you're looking at right in the dashboards and pull out exactly what you're looking for. And again, there is a QR code there to scan right to it. If you have any questions, specific requests, or want more information on the labor market situation here in Montgomery County, please feel free to reach me by email at jane.stein@montgomerycountypa.gov. And next up, I am going to introduce Kaylin Langdon to go over some economic development resources.
Thank you, Jane. I'm Kaylin Langdon, Business Assistance Coordinator with the Montgomery County Commerce Department, and I will be discussing some economic development resources available to businesses. Next slide. When providing business support, we believe it should always start with a conversation. We want to understand what is working for the business and what areas may also need extra support. That understanding allows us to connect businesses to the proper resources faster. So we continue to foster and expand our network of partners and stakeholders to ensure businesses are getting versatile support. Whatever the need may be, if we cannot help you, we know someone who can. And as you can see here on our slide, we have provided some examples of the partners that we work with on a continuous basis. Next slide. The Redevelopment Authority, also termed the RDA, is the entity that administers the county's economic development loan programs, one being the Montgo Forward Loan. The Montgo Forward Loan program is designed to help businesses grow, increase their productivity, and maximize the value of their investments in Montgomery County. Businesses and their banks are encouraged to connect with us to discuss best how a loan from this program can be incorporated into funding a project. The program can provide up to $1 million to qualified projects with a low fixed rate, fixed term. Another economic development loan program available is the Pennsylvania Industrial Development Authority, known as PIDA. The PIDA loan provides low interest loans and lines of credit to businesses that commit to creating and retaining full-time jobs in PA throughout projects, including property and/or equipment purchases. The RDA partners with PIDA to administer this program locally. The program can provide up to $2.25 million to qualified projects with a below market interest rate tied to the 10-year treasury, which will vary by use of funds. Next slide. Along with the economic development loans, the RDA provides financing options for environmental remediation, energy efficient, and water conservation projects. One option that businesses of any size can utilize is the Commercial Property Assessment Clean Energy, also CPACE program. This program assists Montgomery County commercial businesses, agriculture interests, and nonprofits to finance clean energy and water efficiency projects with long-term and low-cost financing. The newly expanded program also allows for the financing of improvements to multi-tenant residential properties, as well as improvements to all eligible properties that increase environmental resiliency and HVAC enhancements. The RDA also provides financing assistance with ISRP, EPA brownfields, TIFs, and RACPs. Connect with us for a more in-depth conversation on those. Another entity that can assist businesses with securing particular financing is Montgomery County Industrial Development Authority. The IDA assists manufacturing firms, nonprofit organizations, educational institutions, healthcare organizations, water treatment plants, and pollution control facilities with meeting capital needs for large-scale projects. The IDA process is designed to secure significant capital at competitive rates for borrowers and benefit the lender through the utilization of tax-exempt bonds. Whenever a business is interested in discussing the county's financing options, we welcome their financial institution to join the conversation as well so that collaboration can start from the beginning. Next slide. Additionally, we can provide information on available sites in Montgomery County. With our Monco site selection program, businesses can complete an inquiry form, sharing the requirements they are looking for in a location. We will then share the property search inquiry with our network of real estate and development professionals to get you the latest information on available or soon to be available properties, sites, and buildings. And as you can see, you can utilize the QR code to see that inquiry form. And lastly, we have our moncoforward.org website. There, businesses will find an insight tool that can assist them in making better decisions for their business. It gives them the opportunity to review market data and business climates, plus get an idea of the competition in the area. While understanding what factors are going to support businesses in being successful, business owners also want to understand the quality of life advantages that will be provided to their own families and employees. And Montgomery County has it all. Whether it be experiencing the local arts or enjoying the many miles of our trails and parks or attending one of our many award-winning educational institutions, there is something for everyone. Make sure to explore why our county is the best place for you and your business to live, work, learn, and invest in Montgomery County. Next, I'd like to introduce Ashley Phillips, who will share workforce development resources.
Thank you, Kaylin. My name is Ashley Phillips. I am the Business Services Supervisor here at the Pennsylvania CareerLink offices of Montgomery County, and I'd like to share with you some information about the employer resources available to you. Next slide, please. PA CareerLink Monco, located in Norristown, acts as the one-stop career center supporting job seekers and employers in our area. To stay up to date on the latest, please follow us on social media at PACL Monco on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Also, sign up for our new Monco Links newsletter, our employer edition. Next slide, please. Our business services team can assist with helping to connect, hire, develop, train, and retain your labor force by using resources to reduce the cost associated with recruiting, hiring, and training, also accessing relevant labor market information, working with economic development groups, and making connections with local industry partnerships. You can reach us by completing an employer services request on the PA CareerLink website or by contacting me directly by email or phone. Next slide, please. The best way to connect is to first register for a free account on the Pennsylvania CareerLink. There you'll get instant access to potential candidates and also some free services to help promote your business, which include on-site or virtual events, pre-screening and evaluating candidates, and also offering training opportunities to candidates interested in improving their skills. You can also help hire by getting customized resources from an industry-specific business service representative. That includes support with job posting, sourcing candidates, and crafting an individualized service plan. We also help you develop by investing in your future through a pipeline development activities with the Monco Works Now program for youth and young adults. Next slide, please. There are many training options, and then learning about the training option that best suits your business services representative can help you work through. Customized job training, where employers who are interested in a specific skill set for their workforce develop a program for a group of new hires where the employer can be reimbursed for the training cost and wages. On the job training, or OJT, where employers have the opportunity to pre-screen candidates who earn while they learn. This gives the employer a chance to recover some of the costs associated with training those new employees. Also, just briefly, apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships. They're highly driven by industries. They have a high quality career pathways and where the employer invests in their current and future workforce. And we'll learn a little bit more about that later. Next slide, please. There are a lot of ways that PA CareerLink can also help retain your labor market by keeping it strong with resources for professional development and skill upgrades. That includes Skill Up PA, where you can access a variety of no-cost courses and certification programs that help your employees build their skill set and meet your business needs. Also, Incumbent Worker Training, or IWT, where eligible employers can receive a reimbursement for a portion of the cost of training to retain their current workforce. Some additional resources include posting jobs easily on the statewide PA CareerLink system, promoting jobs in office with community partners and in our weekly and monthly newsletters, accessing more labor market information, participating in countrywide hiring events, and identifying training needs and possible eligibility for training and wage reimbursement. Next slide, please. Now, I'd like to introduce Sarah Hudson, who will talk more about our Monco Works Now.
Thank you, Ashley. Monco Works Now is the youth and young adult program in the county, and we work with 14 to 24-year-olds who are experiencing a barrier to employment and education. Next slide. So Monco Works Now, we work with two pools of youth and young adults. We work with in-school youth that are 14 to 21 who are in high school or post-secondary setting, but our primary population is out-of-school youth. About 75% of our participants who are between 16 and 24 who have already graduated from high school or have left high school and are looking to return to a GED or high school equivalency program, and are primarily looking for further education and training programs and employment. We are Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act funded, so WIOA funded as well, and we are a service of the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit based in Norristown. However, our program does service youth and young adults that are eligible in the whole county. So we are based in Norristown, but provide services throughout Montgomery County. Next slide. We have several partnership options for employers. Two, I have specific slides about that I want to cover in more detail since they are really great opportunities that I want you to have a lot more information on, and that is paid work experiences and the Monco Rise internship program. So I will cover those in the next slides. Like I said, we have several out-of-school youth that are looking for employment in a field of interest that they are looking to grow in. So we work with several employers throughout the county for direct hire support. So partnering with employers to send candidates that our career counselors work hard in making sure they're game ready for their next step. We provide career counseling, interview prep. We provide different supportive services to make sure our youth and young adults are game ready, such as transportation and clothing. And we, when someone is interested in a direct hire with one of our partners, we reach out to send them their resume and get them set up for an interview. So we also offer half-day job shadows, half-day and full-day job shadows with some of our partners, where if a youth and young adult is a little bit unsure of what they may want to do, a full-day or half-day job shadow allows them to follow someone in the organization or follow multiple people around to check out different departments and see if this may be a field that they want to pursue. It is often that job shadows can lead to a paid work experience or a direct hire if things go well. So that's also some great PR and exposure for local organizations to meet with some of our youth and young adults. Industry tours are monthly through MoncoWorks now currently, where we bring usually anywhere from 3 to 10 participants along with staff to do an industry tour. And we actually just got back from one yesterday where we're aiming to really get an array of different industries for exposure for our participants to learn about different careers. And since we are based out of the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit, we also have connections to school districts, all school districts in Montgomery County. My contact information is below. It's Sarah Hudson, shudson@mciu.org. And that is our address for the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit. Next slide. So I want to go over paid work experiences, which are available to MoncoWorks Now participants. Paid work experiences are similar to internships in the sense that it's a career exploration tool and a way for employers to really get some great, again, exposure for their business, but also some assistance at no cost and no risk. So paid work experiences work in the sense that a MoncoWorks Now participant gets onboarded with the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit and becomes a temporary employee. We provide payment and workers' compensation through our funding, and these experiences are typically 6 to 12 weeks long with the possibility to extend up to 800 hours for the participant's time in the program. We have a 35-hour maximum per week limit through our HR and payroll, but oftentimes I'd say the average duration of a paid work experience is 3 to 5 months, with more than half extending if it's a good fit for the employer and for the participant. So this can lead to a direct hire if things go well, but there's no obligation as well. It's really for that participant to get experience in a field they're interested in, but also to help out our businesses with workforce. Employer requirements are just a signed worksite agreement, a copy of a certificate of insurance, and supervisor clearances if a participant is under 18. Next slide. The Monco Rise program is the Montgomery County Intermediate is overseeing the Monco Rise program, but this is actually a different eligibility pool. So you'll see different age ranges. Montgomery County youth and young adults who are between ages 17 and 24 are eligible to apply to the Monco Rise program, which stands for Real World Internships, Skills, and Experiences. So this is a different pool of applicants, and we're very excited. We're starting our first cohort this summer of 2023. The Monco Rise program is actually funded for 3 years, so we'll have opportunities for internships for cohorts in the summer, fall, and spring, and interns can earn up to $18 an hour. Employers are not required to pay. This is actually made available through Pennsylvania's American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funding, and the Montgomery County Workforce Board. Internships will be made possible in several high priority occupations, including but not limited to construction, education, health and human services, hospitality and tourism, IT, and manufacturing. So as I said, we're on our first cohort that we're planning right now, a very exciting time. But if you're interested in learning more about applying to host an intern, you can email moncorise@mciu.org. Thank you, and I'm going to turn it over to Adina.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, I'm really happy to be here with you today. I'm going to speak to you today about pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship support. As Jenny mentioned at the beginning, apprenticeship has always been a part of the fabric of the United States and certainly internationally for training for our workforce. And in our country, and especially in Pennsylvania, and very definitely in Montgomery County, it's really picked up a lot of steam as an amazing tool for employers to consider implementing for their workforce development. And I am working for Montgomery County. Montgomery County is actually very unique within our Commonwealth in that they have their own dedicated apprenticeship subject matter specialist. So it's extra exciting that I can present to you today as your first step on the long train of apprenticeship. Next slide, please. So first, let's dispel some myths about what apprenticeship is and isn't, because this is a great starting point for employers who have been hearing the term apprenticeship in so many different circles lately. Apprenticeship is specifically and always a training program that a company develops for its own full-time permanent paid employees. The apprenticeship, in order to become registered, needs to meet specific criteria. And in Pennsylvania, we actually have our own apprenticeship office and our own apprenticeship council. And an employer would say to themselves, we have a few positions, we're having a lot of trouble finding people for them or training people for them. So if those occupations can meet apprenticeship criteria, you may have a perfect opportunity to create an apprenticeship program within your organization. You would be formalizing your training this way, and they are customizable. Inherently, they need to be measurable, repeatable, and certifiable, which are some great buzzwords that employers really want to hear when it comes to training the workforce in technical positions. What's also important to know, aside from the fact that apprenticeship needs to meet certain standards, is that the employer actually identifies who its apprentices are and who the mentors are in their apprenticeship program. These are your employees, and you decide from your employee pool who will be an apprentice. Also, apprentices follow your own company HR policies, and you determine the wage scale. And that's also very important because we don't want employers to misunderstand apprenticeship. We want to help them understand it, and then they can make a strong decision about whether or not to incorporate it. Why has registered apprenticeship become so popular? Well, we know that it has existed in the skilled trades, many times in construction, for a very long time. But actually, we're starting to see apprenticeships pop up, if you will, in multiple industries, wherever an employer believes they have an occupation that can fit an apprenticeship model and would be useful to be able to hire people into those positions and give them really standardized, formalized training to develop a workforce. And it's not always entry level. This can be mid-level positions as well. We've extended into IT, education, human resources, professional services, behavioral health. It's really run the gamut. It really just depends on if you have positions that qualify for apprenticeship training. There's also a very big diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility focus inherent in apprenticeship. So many employers are trying to figure out how to diversify and strengthen the diversity of their workforce. And it's inherently built in with apprenticeship. Plus, you find with apprenticeship that you're creating new partnerships in your area. You're finding training providers to work with, you're connecting to schools and workforce development in ways you never did before. And it really expands your reach, and it's just a lot of added bonuses to your workforce development within your company for training. Briefly want to mention pre-apprenticeship. It's confusing, right? What is a pre-apprenticeship? So in essence, consider when you hire people, even entry level, you may say, you know what, there's 3 certifications that they need for us to be able to hire them just to do the most basic job in our company. What are some different ways that we can get some folks already trained with those certifications? So often employers are reaching out to training providers and having the training providers pursue a grant to create what's then called a pre-apprenticeship, where folks can come into that training provider and get the certifications that they need to then apply for your apprenticeship. So this is creating a really specific pipeline all the way through. Next slide, please. Registered apprenticeship strengthens recruitment, retention, and career growth. Over 93% across the nation of employees who complete an apprenticeship stay at the company. Now, these are your employees. So when they're done their apprenticeship, they just continue working for you as usual, now with mastery of their occupation. However, what they found nationally is that because the nature of an apprenticeship program with dedicated mentoring and the customized training really builds loyalty and integrates an employee into the company so well that they continue on once the training is over. We've noticed that there's a lot of retirements happening across the country and competition for talent and lack of training and readiness. Apprenticeship speaks to these as a tool for your company. And some reasons that local companies have wanted to create registered apprenticeship: formalize and streamline training, meet industry standards, engage their workforce, integrate certification requirements into their training, or even just ensure consistency of training across their company. Next slide, please. So how do you know if apprenticeship is really a good fit for your company? Well, luckily, you have me as your next stop on the apprenticeship train, and I'm happy to meet with you and walk through this. But because we want to make sure that you can walk away from this training with more information as well, take a look at the requirements of apprenticeship. So to know if an occupation is apprenticeable, it has to require at least 1 year of training, have classroom or online instruction that can complement the training with certifications, and you are going to be setting some wage scales that increase as skills increase, and identifying in-house mentors. And then eventually your apprentices become journey workers, which means they have mastered, and now they become the next mentors. And you just keep the program rolling in your company. You can use the resources to find what occupations you can create an apprenticeship program for. And of course, there's apprenticeship information from our own state apprenticeship office. Next slide, please. Finally, I just wanted to give you an idea of next steps, because we do have a state office, which I would connect you to if we, after our conversation, figure out that apprenticeship is a good fit for you. And that really helps us to hone in with a lot more support of the state office, myself, and everything is free. All of the information and the consultations are free to help you develop and register an apprenticeship program. Locally, one of the jobs that I have is to help connect you to partners like those who presented on this training. And it helps to create a very well-rounded capacity for you to fund, train, retain, and find the training partners to develop a strong and long-lasting training program. And I'm going to bounce it back to Jenny to wrap it up. And thank you. It's been a pleasure to meet you. Please contact me. My information is there if you'd like more information about apprenticeship. Jenny?
Thank you so much to all of you, and thank you for joining us today, and your interest in the services that are available through the Commerce Department. We hope you found this session informative. If you are interested at all in learning more about these services that are designed to help your business thrive here in Montgomery County, please scan the QR code to complete a business assistance request form. Thank you again so much. Have a great day.